Alright guys, we are back. House Party 5v5 Solo League, and we are into Champion Select. My name is Anson. I'll be casting this game for you. With me in the co-caster's chairs, my good friend Dave.
What's up, peeps? Dave's back from the grave.
Back from the grave. Already got our bands coming out. Katarina, Darius LeBlanc on the blue side. On the red side, Jack Sejuani Alistar. Zark's already picked up his Irelia. The Urgod going to Ginger Fight. Camouflare is going to take Lee Sin. That may be a pick for another player on his team. I've never seen Camouflare play Lee Sin, but you never know. This is this is Solo League, so
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just, it's always good to come back and see Sogan and Katarina band against him. He'd play Katarina support, but he knew what he was doing, surprisingly.
Yeah, Camouflare always draws the Katarina ban. It's not something you want to leave open around him.
Oh yeah, and that Darius ban against Sky, I guess they watched that last game and just saw the dumpster happening.
Murdered. I mean, he took people to town and then just chucked them in the dumpster when he was done with them.
It was so, I just did nothing that game. I was playing Bard and I was like, I'm just gonna let everything just flow and just kind of stand in the back and ult my own teammates and hope we win.
People talk about his Darius and they're like, well, he's kind of he's okay at the champion, but it's Darius after all, and he's not all that strong. He gets countered hard and he's got mobility issues. And I'm like, have you seen the guy play Darius before?
I mean, it doesn't matter if you have mobility issues or it's not as good. When you put something like that into someone's hands that's been playing it forever and just super good at it, it's scary.
People talk down
the. Be scared.
Yeah, people talk down the champion, but just the fact that he has such a deep level of mastery on it, yeah, instant ban in Solo League. I would definitely put that right up there with Camouflare's Katarina.
Oh yeah. I don't think Camouflare is ever going to be able to play Katarina in solo ladder, or at least I probably would never be able to see it. Because if I'm on a team against him, it's getting banned.
when you do see it, it's a rare treat. It looks like
I wouldn't doubt that.
Sky's going to pick up the Nasus, and Hellbizzle's going to be taking the Morgana. Jack already locked in the Lucian for the 80 carry role. And Google's still deciding, leaning toward Pantheon at this point.
I like this Urgot versus Azir lane because I feel like both of these are good counters against these AD mids, but they're counters against AD mids, but they're playing against each other. It's gonna be interesting watching the counters of AD mids go against each other. In my opinion, I don't know. I always see Azir as being one of this really good anti all-in AD, mostly Zed. I've always played him against Zed and just demolished him, and Urgot's perfect against Zed and other AD or all-in champions, so being able to see them both go against each other, this is gonna either be a boring match mid, or it's just gonna be an all-out fight. But thinking Urgot mid is always enjoyable to watch, in my opinion.
It was just a few short weeks ago where that would have been the troll of the century, and now it's a thing. So welcome to League of Legends, boys.
Urgot back in the meta. What is this?
Back in the meta. The Bard performed really well last game. I was really surprised at how that came into play and really affected the outcome of the game. It's interesting to see now that people are learning the champion, what he can do, what he's capable of.
Oh yeah, and thanks for the compliment because I was playing Bard.
Oh, you were, weren't you?
Yeah. It's I haven't played in 3 months, and coming back to see a champion where it's so reliant on team play. And I was talking about this, and it's gonna sorry if this takes a minute to explain, but one of the greatest things about his kit is having this ability to not troll your team, but affect your team in a negative way with his ultimate. And at the same time, it has such a huge reward if you play it correctly. And I love that Riot is taking this from Dota and other MOBA games, where this negative feature of having on champion, having a negative feature in some way in their kit is really good, because it's taking a step away from a super casual game and putting it into more I don't want to say super casual because League is definitely not super casual, but taking it from like this point of view where all your abilities are positive for your team, and having like adding in these negative factors that like make it so you have to play the champion correctly to be able to like win the game. So having that type of feature on the champion, I love this stuff. I love the hero. It's like, I mean, I'm a support main, so I always love new supports coming out, but I mean, his kit, being able to roam around the map, travel, just like, you get to one side map to the other side map in a heartbeat, and you just like, everyone underestimates like the mobility that
it started,
it's ridiculous.
That whole line of thinking, I think, started with Kalista. I think they dipped their toe in the water, and they were like, okay, let's try this out, and just see how it works. It's not like breaking anything if people start using the Kalista ult to troll their teammates or whatnot. It's just kind of a minor impact. But then you take a look at a champion like Bard, and it's okay. This guy can really screw up his own team, and I think they just put their foot on the gas a little bit and said, well, let's explore this a little bit further. And you, I'm happy to see the game going in that direction. So far, I haven't been trolled by Bard in ranked yet. I'm sure it's happening to people, but.
I would never touch Bard in ranked unless I was duo queuing, because his kit's so reliant on having a team that can listen and understand what you're planning. Like even with minimal communication and voice with them, it's so hard to hit the right ults, because I ulted like 3 times last game where I shouldn't have ulted. Like I ulted once where Darius was like mid swing. He was still able to ult, but like it was just like, why'd I ult there? And then there's just like 2 other times where I just ulted too early or too late, and it just wasn't impactful, or like I just didn't ult at all. So like his ult is probably the hardest ability in the game to actually land correctly in a fight. Like Janna has that issue, but like Janna, you can at least, if it goes wrong, you can still have some type of positive impact. So
it can, and you can recover from it. And
you can recover it really easy. From his, it's like you throw it out at the wrong time, you're screwing your entire team pretty hard. So
well, we'll see how it plays out in game. Guys, the casters are going to take a short break while we're in the loading screen, and we will see you back once we hit the rift.
Oh man, my cat decided to jump in my lap and keep on jumping in my lap.
All right, folks, we are back. House Party 5v5 Solo League. I am your host, Anson. With me in the co-caster's chair is Dave.
What's going on?
And we are about to get into the action. Going to be hosting these Solo League games all night long. If you want to get in on the games, join the in-client chat room, House Party 5v5, no spaces. and join us on TeamSpeak. All that information is available on our subreddit, House Party 5v5. We prioritize new players, so you guys can get in. Just let us know that you're new and you want to play, and we will get you on the list. We got both sides setting up for their early game here. Gonna have Camouflare in the jungle on that Lee Sin opposite Zark with the Pantheon. Looks like Zark's gonna be opting for a red start, and so's Camouflare.
Yeah, both these junglers are probably one of my two favorite junglers to watch. Like Lee Sin and Pantheon, they're like super aggressive. Pantheon's level 2 gank is just so nice, and just like I feel like it's either gonna be a bloodbath in the early game with both junglers being super aggressive, or it's just gonna be like a stalemate for the longest time. Because laning wise, you have Nasus versus Irelia, where it's just I feel like unless Irelia gets a good like level 2, level 3, Nasus is not going to die, and he's just going to be able to sit underneath this tower, especially since he has Flask. And this bot lane is, like, Bard is not an aggressive laner. That's probably his biggest downside. So, seeing a Bard versus a Lucian, like, Bard and Lucian versus a Morgana Graves, which are super aggressive, I feel like it's going to go, I feel like this is going to be a one-sided bot lane, but I might be wrong, so let's hope it's not like that.
Well, it's, definitely got to give the bottom lane to the red side just in the laning phase. It's not a lot that a Lucian Bard can do. The Graves Morgana, really good synergy together. Hellbizzle's going to throw those bindings out, and Fat Siraji is going to follow it up with his Graves burst. So I think early game Jack and Google just have to focus on trying to farm things up and be safe and be open to receiving ganks. Let red team push things back and just chill a turret, make it to the mid game where that Bard can start to have more of an impact on the outcome.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with Morgana having her black shield, it just like Bard only has one ability, and that's his Q when it comes to laning phase. And I mean, with shield, it's really just going to make him very. There's just nothing going to happen.
Buckshot goes across onto Google there, and he took a fair bit of damage after that snare from Hellbizzle landed. So exactly what we were talking about. That keeps happening over and over. Jack and Google are not going to be able to maintain this laning phase. They're going to be going back a lot. They're going to be buying a lot of potions, and they're going to get behind in experience.
And see, that's the one mistake. Like the Lucian, what he just did, where he went over the Bard W immediately. You have to wait the 10 seconds. I mean, like, granted, sometimes you're gonna have to take immediately, but if he waited the 10 seconds, the heal is so much more. And like, it's like it's one of the biggest mistakes I see in solo queue with Bard, or like just in regulars, that people walk over the health crystal too early, and it just doesn't do anything. It just makes the lane super hard for the Bard because you're messing with them. So you're messing with like how makes the lane, because you can have 3 of those out. Like basically, you just want to have a line right underneath your tower, and you're getting aggressed on. You just kind of like turn around, run away, get all the health packs, and you live. So
I'm interested in this top lane. Rigel is one of those guys that plays Irelia, and we've seen Sky on his comfort champion. We haven't seen what he's capable of outside of that. I think this game is going to be really telling, especially the captain of the team that he's on, as to whether or not a single ban can just completely take him out of the game. If he remains competitive with this Nasus, and First Blood didn't even see that one coming. Malkathos picking it up in the mid lane, just jumped right in there and grabbed it onto Gingerfied.
I love his Zeus kit in the mid lane. Like there's so many like if you get 2 soldiers up and his Q's still up, you can take almost any hero from at least like half health to quarter health, almost dead if you go ignite. It's great. I love his kit, and especially against these champions that like rely on having help later on, like not help but more defensive spells later on, like later levels. You know, having like 2 or 3 skill levels in your shield is going to be better than 1 at level 4 against an Azir.
Camouflare not making a lot of impact on this game early. Lee Sin, again, like we went over in Champion Select, I haven't seen him play that a lot, so I'm curious. Jack, in a rough spot there, had to use the E to get out. Google coming in, and we got the gank from The Pantheon going in onto targets here. Zark picks up that one there. And Hellbizzle going to be headed back to base the bad way.
That's my favorite thing about Bard's kit, is being able to, like, if you see a Bard leaving from your lane, you better back away, because he's most likely sitting in this jungle waiting to tunnel in with his jungler to get a free gank off. It's so great. It tunnels such an amazing ability. I love it.
That was a brilliant gank bottom lane last game where the Rengar just, it was like, hi guys, I'm here.
I walked back to get a chime, and I was like, hey, Rengar, you want a gank? And I just, like, pulled up my thing, and we went in.
There was absolutely nothing that they could do. The flash gets burned here, though. Fatsuraji in a little bit of trouble. Plenty of distance, though. He's going to be able to get back to the safety of his turret. Gingerfight is actually here in a 3v1 situation. Fatsuraji coming in and trying to even the odds up here. Gingerfight gets exhausted. The damage onto Google is not going to be enough to take it. The binding hits Zark, and Hellbizzle is going to back up out of there. Camouflare getting up in Zark's face. He's not going to follow up on the Q there, but the Zir damage is so much. Malkathos taking so much onto Camouflare there. Kama has to back off out of that one as well. So, that's Sarachity sticking around a little bit too long there, brother. Just gets blown up. Malkathos going to claim a kill on that one. What happened with Sarachity there?
God, that's just ridiculous. I love, oh god, Azir ganks bottom. Like, once you have level 6 and having your free wall, it's just like, you get a good Q off. If you get a good soldier Q off and you can E behind them and get the wall off, it's just, it's beautiful. I love it. It's beautiful. It's such a fun kit. I'm loving the champions they're creating lately. Kalista being such a fun ADC, Bard. I mean, the only one I could really complain about is probably I don't know. I don't really have one I can complain about. Azir's fun. Who am I missing? Yeah, Azir. Yeah, they're all just great kids. Beautiful. Except for Nidalee.
Well, we've always hated Nidalee since the beginning. Gingerfied gets the hyperconnect position reverser off on Malkathos. Starts returning fire here. They're both damaging each other, but Malkathos takes the upper hand just feet from the turret there. Grabs a kill, and that's going to extend him to 4-0. I think it's fair at this point to call it Fed status. Camouflare flashes in, misses the Q there. I think that's just down to inexperience on the champion. That one could have been a kill secured. Shut down gold in his team's pocket. He's got to be feeling bad about that one.
Yeah, and having a Morello like on 8 minutes on Azir being 4-0, you're gonna start dominating very quickly. It's great. And, I mean, I'm really impressed by this Bard Lucian bot, especially with those 2 ganks with the tunnels. It was very well done. They really put them in a position where they can be aggressive against a Morgana Graves, which should be like, I mean, that's a great lane to be beating a Bard Lucian, just because of the shield itself, and Graves being like one of the best ADC right now, tier wise. So looks like they're coming for round 2 though.
I think that's exactly what they needed to focus on, was getting those ganks and assists where they could force a 3v2 situation and just try to snowball from there. They got to be careful. Still, a 0-0 and 2 Lucian is not going to outtrade Gingerfied. Getting jumped on here. Zark gets the stun off, and Malkathos gonna provide damage. Zark finishes things though, grabs the kill there, and really Gingerfied is not having a good time mid.
Yeah, it looks like top lane Nasus is starting to beat up on this.
The Pantheon gate coming in. Sky gets the Q off. The Wither is going to hit Zark, and he's going to try to contest this with the 2v1 situation here. Zark has to back off. Sky really coming through with this gank here. He is not afraid at all. Rigel's falling very low. He grabs the kill there. I think Rigel was playing it just a little bit too aggressive. Not respecting that damage.
Man, yeah, that Nasus with the Sheen this early on is, oh god, it's something you have to, I mean, Irelia with the Sheen is just as powerful, but man, his Q's just dominated him. Like, ridiculous how much it is. Another one of those Bard ganks, doesn't really do much there.
Google jumping in to assist his lane partner now. And CS in the bottom lane virtually even, so right now both sides still have to respect the other, and I think really Jack and Google, as we have hit level 6 and those all-in engages are a possibility. Right now, Hellbizzle coming back to lane. He's got his trinket upgraded, bringing a Sightstone, and I think they're going to want to pick a fight here. They're still in a position where they can win one. Ginger getting jumped on here. Google roaming up the river for the gank here. Gonna let Malkathos pick up another one. Rigel wasn't even needed for that. He's going to be denied the assist. Still, gold going into the pocket of blue team. They're enjoying over a 2,000 gold lead at this point.
Yeah, just getting that stun off with the I guess it's like a Vayne mechanic, you know, knocking back into the wall, or Poppy, since Poppy was considered the champion first. But either way, having that mechanic where you just, you know, cue him towards the wall, people really underestimate that, like, that they can get stunned from that. I mean, the initial slow is pretty strong, but having a free stun like that is just perfect. And he needs some kind of
Jack gets bound here and has to back away. Camouflare coming in with the gank, but doesn't find anything. Don't even think a summoner was burned there. Actually, healed being burned. If that's Raji, has to dash away from Rigel. He's joining the fight here. Malkathos getting in there too. Takes out the AD carry. Pushes back Camouflare. The soldier's going to mop that one up for a double kill. Malkathos is on fire.
Yeah, it was very well gamed. Very well done game. Rigel coming all the way to the bot lane. I mean, he is losing his pressure top, but they just cleaning up the bot lane over and over and over again.
This is why you don't give Malkathos Azir. He took a look at those Azir nerfs and he said, "What Azir nerfs?" And he's
I came back and saw these Azir nerfs. I'm like, doesn't matter. Azir's still gonna be strong. I mean, I've been losing some solo games still, but either way, I still don't think he's that bad. I still think he's a great champion. He has such a great kit that it doesn't really matter that he got such big nerfs. Nasus is taking more tower. I think he took more damage from that tower than he has from Aurelia all game. I mean, it's just a lot.
That's fair to say. Gingerfied pushing up way too far here. Uses the hyperkinetic precision reverser to get out, but Malkathos is after him. The soldiers are on top, and he's going to grab himself another one. That's legendary status. He has 9 kills to his name. Take a look at the gold difference. He has nearly twice the gold of Gingerfied. Ginger is just absolutely getting dumpstered.
That's just, whew, that's a lot.
What do you do?
I mean, those
at
game
this
spot
point?
just didn't help. I mean, I would really wouldn't know. I mean, Urgot had a good plan, you know, hyperkinetic charge the bar to try to get out, and it just didn't work out.
They're diving this underneath the turret here. Rigel is tanking all the damage, but Malkathos putting quite a lot onto Sky. Sky said, "Be careful here." Malkathos grabs another one. 10-0.
The amount of Conquering Sands kills I've seen from this Azir this game has just been like way too much. It's so. I mean, this is some good Azir play. I love it. I love watching games like this where an Azir just like roams around the map. That's probably one of his best ability, like best things he could do is just roam, keep snowballing, keep getting as many kills as he can. It's just, I mean, the more fed you get early, the better. His early game is alright, whereas his late game, you get 4. Well, I've seen 4 soldiers once, but you get 3 soldiers, get a good Q off with like a ton of AP, you're just gonna demolish any ADC that decides to walk towards your Q, or at least where you're aiming your Q at.
You know, I haven't said this at 14, we're nearly 15 minutes in before, but this game is over. Azir, Malkathos has it in the bag. 20 minutes
11-0.
Gotta be.
Morello, Melicon, needlessly large rod, the Iron Phoenix Stinger. Yeah. Wow. That's a lot. Personally, I don't like the Stinger Nash's Tooth build because I swear I've been told this or I've read this somewhere that the Nash's Tooth passive doesn't work on your soldiers, but, you know, I might be wrong. I don't know. I've heard it like a million times, and I still question myself every day. Actually,
the Bard ult coming in, locks Gingerfied down. Malkathos is here. Ginger has to flash out. He uses the hyperkinetic position reverser to get Zark underneath the turret. This could be kill number 2 for red team. They grab that one underneath. That's going to be a little more gold into their pocket, but at this point,
that was a great team over the wall.
Just playing defensively.
Yeah, that was good by Red Team being able to like stop getting the flash right up the Bartle. Perfect. Sometimes
The engage happening here. Sky tries to go in on the Malkathos for the shutdown gold. He doesn't get it. Malkathos escaping with sub 100 health here, and that was just a Hail Mary right there. That's all that was. Sky wanted to try to turn the tides here, get himself a little bit fed off of that shutdown gold, and try to stop the Azir train, but that train's running. It's got plenty of hype in the tank.
Honestly, the only person that can really stop this Azir is probably Lee Sin, and he has to get a good, insect kick on him or some way to force him into the enemy team, walk up behind him, flash kick, whatever. Because the Azir's mobility, being able to E away if he needs to, or just like the rage he has on those soldiers, popping up 2 soldiers, hitting your Q, you're gonna chunk someone no matter who it is. So they really just need to get a good. If they get a good engage on the Azir before he can do anything, they'll be able to maybe. I want to say maybe, but they might be able to win the fight. It'll be hard, but they could do it.
At this point, it's down to a catch when you've got one person that has 12 of your team's kills. It's almost a detriment to blue team. Malkathos has to play this extremely carefully because the rest of his team, you take a look at the farm totals, they're not that far ahead compared to red team. Malkathos is the only one that has a substantial lead on his team. If he gets hyperkinetic position reversed from the bush, if he gets insect, then that's really going to leave blue team in a bad spot. Ginger, though, checking the brush, can't face check. The Bardold is going to hit 2 here. That traps Hellbizzle in the wall, has to flash up over it, and he gets back to the safety of his base, but that base is not going to be safe for too much longer the way blue team is playing this one out.
Oh yeah, I think this is gonna be a sub 20-minute game if they decide just to stay around and push. They have the items, they don't need to go back. I mean they're all sitting on some substantial amount of gold, but it really doesn't matter at this point. They're just so far ahead, and people getting caught over and over again just it's just a loss of their ability to be able to win the game right now.
It's the exact opposite of what they need to do. They need to be the ones doing the catching and set up a trap. Even that would be a desperation move at this point, though. Malkathos has to die in order for red team to have any chance of doing anything, and even then, only during that small window where he's actually down would they be able to make any kind of accomplishment. Look at this, Hellbizzle just trying to drop vision. Sky is here in the front line. Comaflare going in, Ham gets exhausted off the back of it, and Jack's going to pick up that kill. Zark with a stun on the Fatsuraji. Jack gets hyperkinetic position reverse back into the team, but the rest of blue team are here to punish him for that one. Unfortunate aspect of the ultimate.
Yeah, they just keep on getting caught back and forth. Not back and forth. They just keep on getting caught over and over and over again. It's not what they need right now. They just need to, a lot of teams make this a mistake. They just keep on going in over and over again. They just need to step back, take a breath, farm what area of the map they can control, which is really not that much, but they can farm and stay back and just farm what they can. They can slowly, at least try to force their way back in the game. But if you can't do that, then it's rough.
The problem for red team at this point is the gold's getting spread around now. We're in a team fight phase, so that means that all of the crazy damage Malkathos is putting down, the rest of his team are reaping the assist gold benefits for that. We're at 20-3. I've never seen kills get stacked up this much this early in the game, and blue team just looking unstoppable.
Honestly, I was not expecting. I honestly had my in the mid lane. I honestly thought the Urgot would be able to beat Azir, but I was wrong on that.
It looks like we are having a pause here. We'll go ahead and turn the chat on, see what's going on.
Rigel DC.
A summoner has disconnected.
Well, it looks like they may be unpausing, and we're probably going to have the surrender vote coming across now. Onward. Nope, not ready to give up yet.
I feel like there's just troll going on right now.
while we